Hello, Oracles. Well, Tesla stock is going to 7x over the next 10 years, according to Ron Barron. And this is not including FSD, robotaxis, or Optimus. So let's go through some of what Ron Barron had to say yesterday during the interview he had with Elon. I'm going to play a few clips for you guys here. We'll discuss it afterwards. And then we'll also discuss why the stock ended up falling down yesterday. Timing wise, it looked like the stock came down right around the time that we were having this interview going on. So there's some things that Elon had said which caused the stock price to most likely sell off. So we'll discuss some of that also.
It became, well, it's still in Barron Partners Fund, it's 40% of the fund, and now it's 40%. And in Barron Focused Growth Fund, it's 20%, 22%. So nobody has funds like that. But my cost is so low, it's like in those funds, $13 and stock is $2.30. I think I'm going to make 7 times from here in the next 10 years. I make 1.5 or 2 times in the next 3 years. So I think in 2025, I think it'll be 500 or 600. It's now 228. And then I think that by in 10 years, 8 or 10 years, we ought to be somewhere around $4.5 trillion. Elon says now it's a $700 billion market cap. Elon says he thinks it's going to be bigger than Apple and Saudi Aramco together.
You believe that?
Yes. So I think that it's sort of hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
But in 2030, if he does just simple math, if he does 20 million cars a year, there's 100 million cars a year that are being sold right now. If he does 20 million cars a year then, and they're $50,000 a car, that's $1 trillion of revenues. And he has operating profits of somewhere around 30%. That means $300 billion. If you say it's worth 15 times, that's $4.5 trillion. It's now 700 billion. That's how you get those numbers. But that's not including robots. That's not including autonomous vehicles. That's not including batteries. That's not including robots. He thinks robots are going to be bigger than cars. So there's so many things that are happening in Tesla. One remarkable things. How do you keep track of this? I can't keep track of as an analyst. You run these companies. How do you do that?
So there it is, according to Ron Barron, thinking that we are going to potentially 3x in the next 3 years. Now, Gary Black does have a price target of $550 for next year. So I do think that Ron Barron is a bit on the conservative side. But as he said, this does not include batteries. This doesn't include autonomous vehicles. So it doesn't include any FSD that's going to go into this. We may end up seeing a few of those things come to fruition over the next few years as batteries build up, as the EV tax credit kicks in, as Tesla starts getting money for the batteries as well from this EV tax credit. There's a lot of things that are going to be playing into the stock price. Now, again, as we had talked about yesterday also, there have been 2 parabolic moves when it comes to Tesla stock over the last decade. There's been a time of flat trading sideways for a while, and then a parabolic jump up. And then we traded sideways for a while, and another parabolic jump up. So this is something to pay attention to, because we could potentially be in one of those times right now where we're just trading sideways, awaiting that next parabolic move. So what ends up happening is because Tesla moves so fast, because Tesla has so much innovation going on right now, as Ron Barron said, it's hard to keep track of it all. So when somebody who is dealing with just Tesla stock alone cannot keep up with it, when you have other people out there and other analysts trying to deal with a whole bunch of other companies as well, when they're looking at a stock like this, and they say, hey, I cannot fathom that this company is going to be doing all of these things, they don't understand it entirely. Then all of a sudden, it all comes to fruition. And then all of a sudden, the realization kicks in of what is actually transpiring with the company. Then we get that parabolic move. This is one of those times that we're going through right now. Now, the bear market that we're in is, of course, keeping us suppressed as it is. But this time right now, again, in my opinion, this is why these are the reasons I'm adding at this moment. Because I feel confident that we are going to be seeing a parabolic move coming for the stock in the future. I do not know when. For some reason in my mind, my gut is telling me 2025 is going to be that next move. I do still think the stock price is going to go up over the next 3 years, but I think the next real parabolic move we get is going to be 2025. This is why a lot of times analysts just look at their price targets as a 12-month price target, and it's a rolling 12 months. Gary Black has had his $550 price target for basically the last 6 months right now. It's going to take some time. There's a lot of different headwinds that are in the way at the moment that are preventing the stock price from climbing. It's not just Tesla. For everybody who is out there freaking out right now saying, Tesla is so volatile, the price is coming down, why is Tesla selling off? Tesla is so undervalued, why are we so low? It's all of the stocks out there right now. Tesla's not the only company out there right now who has their stock coming down. The entire market, we have talked about this on here, about how a lot of big money, a lot of people are putting their money over in bonds and in other investments, equities are just not the place people want to have their money right now. It's fine. We go through cycles like this. It happened before during the housing recession. We're going to have it happen again. And right now is that time it's going to be going on at the moment. And we'll see it again in the future. But again, this is why fortunes are born during bear markets. When there is a lot of money that is not in the stock market at the moment, and you can put your money in for a much lower price, when all the big money does end up coming back in, that is what's going to move all of our investments that much higher. Again, this is not financial advice. We could definitely pull down much further from here. There's a lot of uncertainty still going on in the market right now. The Fed still needs to continue raising rates. We need to get the jobs market in line. We need to get a rebalance going on in our economy at the moment, and we're not there yet. So we still have a ways to go. So who knows which way the stock market is going to move? But for me, I don't know which way we're going to go. This is why I do my agile investing, which is I keep some money on the sidelines in cash just in case the stock does come down further. But I do add every single day because I don't know if it's going to come down further, and I still want to be adding at these prices.
Tesla is a publicly traded company. I think it's down 40% or something from its high, is selling at 70 times earnings. Meanwhile, Mercedes-Benz, which now produces EVs, is selling for 6 times earnings and yielding 5%. Why should I invest in Tesla rather than Mercedes-Benz?
Well, I actually rarely try to convince anyone to invest in Tesla. And many times I've recommended people don't invest in Tesla, and I've said our stock is too high, but then people just ignore me and keep buying the stock for some reason. But I think at a very high level, I'd say that autonomy is an insanely fundamental breakthrough, and no one is even close to Tesla for solving generalized autonomy or generalized self-driving vehicles. No one's even close. With self-driving, as I was talking about earlier, the car becomes, call it roughly 5 times more useful, but it costs the same to build. Now, can you imagine what would happen if a company was doing, we're doing like a 25 to 30% gross margins, but suddenly that same thing was 5 times more valuable? What would that do to the value of Tesla and the value of that car? It boggles the mind, actually. If you think of net present value of future cash flows, if you actually do the math on that, it's insane. Then there's also the Optimus program, which is our humanoid robot, where we'll leverage our manufacturing expertise and the intelligence we've developed for self-driving to have a useful humanoid robot. Now, the economy is fundamentally GDP per capita times capita. If you no longer have a constraint on capita because of a useful humanoid robot, it is not clear that there's any limit to the size of the economy.
So now I don't know the specific timing as to when we saw the stock price starting to come down yesterday, but I think this might have been the moment right here. Now, we have heard Elon say in the past that he thinks the stock price is too high. However, when he said it during those times, we were in more of a bull market. We were definitely rallying out of the COVID dip, and we were skyrocketing up into the first split. So with Elon saying it again during these times right now in a bear market where a lot of people are teetering at the moment, and we have a lot of FUD out there and a lot of sentiment pulling the stock price down, that could have been what caused it. But this is where the thinking comes in differently. Thinking about it near term, yes, maybe in the moment right now, the stock price is too high based upon where they are at right now. If we were going to value the company as we would value a Mercedes who does not have growth ahead of them like Tesla does, then sure, the stock price might be too high. However, as Elon had said, when you put autonomy into the vehicle and you make that vehicle 5 times more useful, and then you take that vehicle and you put the numbers into it when it comes to FSD and what kind of revenue it can generate, that makes a huge difference. So that there is why the stock price goes so high, because people are pricing in the future. Now, we had seen this before, and that is something that many people had mentioned was, there is so much future potential that is already priced into Tesla. So a lot of people also don't understand what all of this future potential is. Again, I've said it before, when you look back at the internet, who knew that the internet was actually going to be able to provide the world with what it does? Now, of course, you can't just invest in the internet, but look at all the companies who took advantage of that. When Tesla is out here looking to solve AI, full self-driving, these are things that they are creating that don't exist yet. Back in 1992, there's no way you could have fathomed that we would have seen a price tag go this high and the value of the internet be worth what it is today. This is going to be very similar when it comes to FSD, robotaxis, and AI in the future. We cannot fathom what the potential is for the company and for what all of this technology can bring us in the future. We just do not know. We cannot fathom that. So right now, a lot of people are pricing in what they think is going to be worth in the future. But again, as Ron Barron had said previously, right now, his price targets with a 7x over the next 8 to 10 years don't even include Optimus. They don't include AI. They don't include batteries even. So all of these other things that Tesla is working on aren't even factored into that. So a lot of analysts that are out there also do the same thing. They don't factor a lot of those numbers in. Gary Black himself does not factor in most of that also. Once it becomes solved, then we'll see that. Going back to those parabolic moves, that is exactly what we end up seeing is Tesla is working on a lot of things. These things have not come to fruition yet. When they do come to fruition, we will get that parabolic move. That's just how it works. As soon as analysts can say, all right, this is solved, now we can put actual numbers on this, then their minds explode, we get that parabolic move. That is what we have coming up. We just have to be patient. Patience right now is a virtue. We need to be patient. Again, not financial advice. I have to say it. I'm sorry, but I do. And it's just, for me, I'm being patient. I'm utilizing these times. I've spoken to many of you guys in the comments and you agree. And you're thinking the longer we see a suppressed stock price, the longer we'll be able to invest more money into the stock at these prices. Because eventually we will get that parabolic jump and we won't be able to invest at these prices anymore. We'll be investing at the next level up above where we are at the moment. So that's the way I am looking at it. That's why I invest the way I do. Because for me, I am anticipating that next parabolic move coming. And for me, the next parabolic move doesn't even include Optimus. We still have energy, which we haven't even talked about in here. I think that is also going to be included in the next parabolic jump. Don't forget when Dave Lee had pointed out a while back about all of these S-curves that Tesla has. We have the EV S-curve, which really is just getting started itself. We've got the FSD and robotaxi S-curve, which is going to be coming on top of this. We have the energy S-curve, which is going to be bigger than FSD. And then we have the Optimus S-curve, which, as Elon had just stated, there really is no reason we cannot have an infinite GDP, and Optimus will be able to take us there. So when you start looking at market caps and you say, well, how could Tesla possibly be, $10 trillion? Well, if your market cap across the world for GDP is going to be infinite, $10 trillion is just a drop in the bucket at that point. Now, of course, there's a long time that we need to go to get there, but this is just looking long-term investing. You look at somebody like Warren Buffett, who's been investing for over 80 years. This guy right here has been doing it. That's why he has the wealth built up that he does. That is the long-term investing. So anybody who is freaking out about the stock price now, please take a step back. And I always ask you guys to ask yourself these questions. How long do you plan on holding the stock for? Look at that time frame. What do you think the stock is going to be worth in that time frame? If you're like Ron Barron and you plan on holding for at least 8 to 10 years and you think the stock price is going to 7x over those next 8 to 10 years, do you really care about what the stock price movements are doing right now? The stock price movements right now are not phasing Ron Barron whatsoever. These do not bother him. That is not a problem for him because he has that vision that is much further out. These times right now happen all the time. The guy's been around for 79 years. He understands that we see stock price movements like this on a regular basis. It's about every 10 years that we end up getting a bear market. During those bear markets, those are the opportunistic times that we can take advantage of to build our wealth up. There are more millionaires made during bear markets than during bull markets. And it's because people invest during those times. So this is all just statistical history that is going on based upon all of these numbers, what happens during these times. And the reason that people make money during these times is because they take advantage of the people who have emotional reactions to the stock market movements. This is why big money does what they do. Big money knows that this is what happens with retail investors. Big money knows that retail investors have their emotions attached a lot of the times. They manipulate your emotions intentionally so that they can take money from you. As Warren Buffett had said himself, the stock market is just a transition of wealth from the impatient to the patient. You've got to be patient through these times. Nobody knows what the future is going to hold, but looking at history, stock prices have always gone up, especially when it comes to the good companies. Ask yourself right now, what other companies out there have a better future potential than Tesla? Maybe you guys think it's someone else, and you can let me know in the comments below what company you think has a better future potential than Tesla does. For me, it's Tesla, so this is why I am investing the way I do in the company. Ron Barron said himself he has a big fund, and his fund has 40% Tesla, and his other fund has 22% Tesla. No other funds do that. This is a guy who is investing and has shown with his history that he has been successful. So, you guys tell me what company you would rather be in for the next 10 years if it's not Tesla. Now, just a reminder, we are going to be having a ladies' night on my birthday. It is going to be on Tuesday, November 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be having Alexandra Tesla Boomer Mama on here, Jen Strahan, who we just had on here on Friday evening, and we will be having Eva McMillan as well. So I hope you guys can all join us for that. I am excited to have this. We are going to make this a recurring event with many other ladies from the community on here as well. And if you guys have any recommendations of anybody else that you would like to see on here, please let me know, and I will reach out to them and get them on here as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a membership program and a Patreon. Those links are also in the description. On those, I will share with you guys all of my price targets now through 2033. I also share over there my production forecast through 2032, my valuation model, and all of my income, investments, and expenses just for full transparency so that you guys can see that I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Thank you all so much. Have a great one.